Okay, so 2,000 years ago, the ancient Greeks were able to figure out the radius of the Earth. They were able to figure out the size of the moon, and they were also able to figure out the distance from the Earth to the moon. But they weren't satisfied with that. They wanted to know things about the sun as well. And so here's a way that they were able to measure the distance from the Earth to the sun, which is going to be letter S in that little triangle thing there. So again, you're going to wait until the moon is directly overhead, but you're also going to wait until it's a half moon. So that half of the moon is going to be lit up, and then the other half of the moon is going to be in darkness. So this side of the moon is in darkness, this side is fully lit up, and that's because the sun is located over here and it's lighting up this side of the moon. So now all you've got to do is, you're here on the Earth, you just need to measure this angle right here. So if you can measure that angle, and if you know this distance from here to here, which they did, so that was the previous segment that we talked about, they were able to measure that length. So it's just, again, a matter of trigonometry, and then they were able to compute what this one had to be. So 2,000 years ago, they had an estimate for how far it was from the Earth to the sun. It wasn't very good. Okay, and I cut them some slack here, but it was, within the ballpark, but their measurements were getting further and further away from the truth. And then finally, how did the ancient Greeks measure the size of the sun? And so here again is another one. And so this is going to be again during a lunar eclipse, when the sun, the earth, and the moon are lined up. And you can see again it's going to make a triangle. And so this time we know the distance from the Earth to the moon, so we're going to know L. We also know S, so we know the distance from the Earth to the sun. And so now all we've got to do is to figure out the radius of the sun. So here is our triangle once again. And so based on this triangle, they could figure out this distance over here, which would be the radius of the sun. And they were really off by this time, but it's okay. So just imagine 2,000 years ago, the ancient Greeks, just by using triangles, were able to figure out all of this information. I think it's pretty impressive. Okay, so that concludes this first lesson on Introduction to Physics. So in our next lesson, we are going to learn all about the atom. I'll see you then.